It's peak lobster season in Victoria's Apollo Bay. Fisherman Nick Polgeest has to keep these lobsters alive for up to 3 weeks before they're exported to China.
The water is 10 degrees, it takes power, 240 to run it, and it takes a heap of it. We've got right now today, we've probably got something like $200,000 of live lobsters that need to have oxygen, need to have cold water, and the fact that if the power goes off, for whatever reason, we're in deep strife. We can go broke.
Over the past few months, his power has been cut off regularly for hours at a time.
When the new system came on stream just a few months ago, we certainly had power problems.
The REFCL, which stands for Rapid Earth Fault Current Limiter, works like a big safety switch, rapidly detecting power line faults and reducing the power flowing through the faulty line. The government acknowledges the changes have caused problems in Apollo Bay.
There have been teething issues as they've been configuring the system at that location, but overall the REFCL model should only be interrupting supply to the community when it's most important, which is on a total fire ban day when there's a risk to the community of a power line initiated fire start.
They're essentially trying to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. It's just not technology fit for purpose for what they're trying to do, and it's hard to imagine it's going to work.
REFCLs are meant to reduce the risk of bushfires sparked by faulty power lines.
So they're a very significant threat because they really only cause a significant problem when it's very windy, it's very hot, and so fires that start from power lines are generally very difficult to stop, but they're also occurring in populated areas.
173 people died on Black Saturday back in 2009. The vast majority of them in fires started by power lines.
I don't think since Black Saturday they've gone in the right direction.
Electrical engineer Dr David Sweeting, who gave expert evidence at the subsequent Royal Commission, is a REFCL sceptic.
I don't think REFCL will reduce the number of electrically ignited fires by any significant amount.
He argues REFCLs won't work because they can't stop the first droplets of molten metal caused by a power line fault.
The fires are ignited by a single droplet of molten copper or burning aluminium. If it's dry enough, it ignites, but only one droplet actually ignites it. REFCL is reducing the number of droplets, but that won't work to reduce the number of fires.
The REFCL manufacturer, Swedish Neutral AB, as well as Victorian electricity suppliers, say REFCLs have been tested comprehensively and the devices do work. One of the key researchers behind the technology agrees.
REFCLs alone, we estimate, will cut the fire risk in extreme fire risk areas by about 70% across all fault types.
Back in Apollo Bay, local Liberal MP Richard Reardon says communities are now dependent on safety technology that may not work.
Here we are 10 years later and nothing is any better or any safer than it was 10 years ago. The community of Victoria needs to be concerned about that. They need to ask the questions and we absolutely need better solutions.
He's also worried the REFCL rollout is hurting local businesses.
A lot of the money's been spent on making the system work. Businesses and factories and processors out in our rural communities are the ones that are going to be picking up the tab.
One of those businesses is the bakery on the main street of Apollo Bay.
Thank you, enjoy your day. Help yourself to some sauce.
Sally Cannon is catering for the thousands of tourists who spend their summer exploring the Great Ocean Road.
The population in Apollo Bay goes from 1,500 to 15,000, so it's a very busy time for everybody.
While she and other traders accept that bushfire safety must be the highest priority, she's worried about whether REFCLs are the right answer.
This is our main freezer cool room, it's chock-a-block full. If the power was to go off, we'd lose potentially up to $30,000 worth of stock.
So far, the power cuts linked to the RefCool rollout have cost the bakery tens of thousands of dollars.
We can't trade, we basically have to close the door. We can't open our fridges, our ovens go off, the coffee machine can't work.
The bakery has just installed a massive backup generator that's cost $70,000. But other regional businesses have spent even more. About 90 of the state's biggest regional employers have had to pay to upgrade their connection to the grid because of the risk that RefCool could damage their electrical equipment. That's cost a total of about $20 million. The state government has paid about half that amount, but several big Victorian businesses have told 730 that RefCool has been a frustrating and expensive problem.
Customers that have got their own high voltage electricity infrastructure connected to that network, they do also have a responsibility to the community to assist in us keeping the community safe in those circumstances.
Several of the businesses 730 has spoken to say they're worried that by criticising RefCools, they'll be perceived as not caring about bushfire safety, especially during the current fire emergency.
What I'm frightened of is that we are the guinea pigs at the moment, that the system hasn't been proven. And that's what everybody's frightened of at the moment in Apollo Bay. So, you know, we need some answers.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 730's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.